Welcome back to my YouTube channel. All right, so if you clicked on this video, you're probably feeling some type of way. You're feeling like your nonprofit is not growing, or you're not getting a response that you want. You're feeling lifeless in your nonprofit. You feel like you're not impacting, you're not making a difference. I'm going to tell you why. I'm going to tell you why in a minute. All right, so I am Jill Smith. I am a nonprofit expert, nonprofit coach. My husband and I have a company called the Smith Serve. It is a nonprofit consulting firm where we help nonprofit founders just like you who are either new or who are struggling to grow your nonprofit, or you've been in this nonprofit industry 5 years or less and you want to know how to get to the next level, or if your nonprofit is over 5 years and you cannot seem to make over or bring in more than $50,000 in annual revenue, you're on the right channel. You're in the right place. You're on the right video. All right. So if you're watching this video from the YouTube channel, please make sure that you go over and you subscribe to, or you join our Facebook group, Founders of Nonprofits. It's a group of about 20,000 other founders who are growing their nonprofits as well, and sharing resources, sharing best practices, sharing and asking for advice and all that good stuff, leaning and gleaning from each other. If you are watching this video from the Facebook group, make sure that you subscribe to this channel. If you have not taken the nonprofit development training, I highly suggest that you take it. It's a 3-hour training. You got me for 3 hours, free, absolutely free. This will definitely, that training will definitely help you to get on the right track, to get started, get up and running, give you a snapshot of what makes a successful and sustainable nonprofit, especially if you want to go after those big grants. Well, these days we don't even know how government grant funding is going, but if we believe that it's going to bounce back. So if you want to get government grants and all that great stuff, you want to make sure you grow to that point where you are grant fundable ready. So definitely take that training. I highly recommend it. If you need documents, if you need especially board development documents, I highly suggest that you invest in the nonprofit toolkit, the Activate toolkit, which the link is below as well. All right. Um, this is a topic that can be very, very deep. As a matter of fact, I've done an extensive training, an in-person training just on this topic, and that is measuring how to measure your nonprofit's effectiveness. It is one of those topics that is super duper boring. It is the stuff that you don't want to spend a lot of time on, but you got to. And I think probably if there's anything more boring, so I always say you got to do the boring work, like nonprofit. I don't care, whatever type of business you're in, you got to do the boring work. And this is probably the most boring, and that is measuring results and analyzing and looking at effectiveness. And so I'm going to try to just share just 3 points with you that could make sure that you're on the right track so that you can understand where your nonprofit is failing, what you need to improve in, and how to make sure that your nonprofit at the end of the day is impacting. Because if it's not impacting, you're wasting your time. You're wasting your time. And I can almost guarantee you're not getting any money. You're not getting any funding if your nonprofit is not effective. So the very first thing to make this like very, very easy to understand is that the reason why a lot of nonprofits are not impacting and they're not impactful and they're not changing lives is because a lot of focus is on the nonprofit as a whole, and it's not on perfecting the program and services that the nonprofit should be offering. There's a lot of people who come to me. There's a lot of people in the Facebook group, a lot of people who come to me that have nonprofits and don't have a program. I'm like, you're not a nonprofit. Like, how do you have a nonprofit and don't have a program? And so there is a lot of work that needs to be done on program development. And so when you want to talk about effectiveness and impacting, it starts with your program, having a viable program, having an impactful program. This is the issue though with a lot of you who have a program. A lot of you have a program that you're developing these programs from your point of view. You're not developing these programs from what the public is saying they need. And that's why you cannot impact. And so I see a lot of people say, for instance, like a lot of people will say, or a lot of people have a program, say they will have a women's, I see this a lot, a women's empowerment event, and they bring all of these women together for these cute, say, tea parties or girls' night out or even a trip, and but they can't measure the effectiveness. Now they'll rah-rah you, they'll make you rah-rah, they make you feel good for the moment, but how do you measure that that thing was effective? And what happens is a lot of times is that you're not going to the core of the problem, and so you are serving from a place of a very shallow place, and you're not seeing where you can really change and make a difference. And so you've got to, when you have, like, say, an women's empowerment, you got to really dissect and really do some research. What are the real needs of these women? What are they hurting? What is their problem? And your nonprofit, the program, will offer the solution to the problem. And so a lot of times we will think the solution is, oh, well, we're going to just do this or we're going to just do that, when you have not really even asked what the person who needs the help needs, and you're not developing your program accordingly. When I was a program manager for the for Health and Human Services, for a program called the Healthy Families Initiative, our grantees, which were nonprofits, they would they got the grant funding. We gave them the grant funding. The whole mission was to develop healthy families and to, like, offer, make sure that the couples, the husband and wife, that they were healthy and that they were getting the counseling and the things that they need. And so a lot of times the nonprofits, they would develop events based on what the needs of the community, what the needs of these couples were saying that they needed, whether it was marriage education, whether it was dating, whatever it was. But there was one grantee, and the grantee was offering, created a program. No one was showing up. Nobody was showing up to their event, to their activity. No one was showing up. And so we ended up taking the funding back. And so what happens is that if there is not a need for the programs or services you're offering, you cannot justify funding. If the people don't want what you're serving and nobody is coming in and getting what you want, you don't have a program. And so so you really need to listen to the public and see what the public is needing before you develop a program. So the creme de la creme to all this, the center of all this, is developing a viable program. So number one, you definitely want to do a strategic plan. Planning is everything. So you have your annual strategic plan for your nonprofit as a whole, but every program should have its own strategic plan. I like SMART goals, developing a strategic plan using the SMART goals format. That's making sure your goals are specific, measurable, achievable, SMA, uh, relevant, and time sensitive. Specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time sensitive. And so your program should have goals like that. And so one of the easiest ways you can track your the progress of your program, and this is very easy breezy. This is not getting into some real deep measuring results. This is just real easy breezy. Number two, which is to track your participation. How many people are signing up for your program? How many people are signing up for your program? A part of that is how many people are staying to the end of the program. And then you want to also think about what is the end result you want them to get. What is the end result you want them to get? What is the end result? So, for instance, if you have a program, say for couples, and a couple signed up, the two people signed up for your program, say for your financial literacy, financial management. Say they signed up, say they coming to you because their problem is that they're on the verge of divorce because they're having financial issues. And but your nonprofit, the mission is to help married couples, help the family. And so this particular program is a financial management program. Let's just say that it's a financial management program for couples. And so the couple comes in, that is their problem. And so you want to know, for your financial management program, how many couples signed up? How many couples signed up? And say that the program is a 6-week program. How many couples stay? So if it's 50 couples who signed up, how many stayed to the end? If 25 dropped out, you got a problem. But if 25 dropped out, measure that. All right, out of those 25 who are remaining, what did they achieve? Did they buy a house? Were they able to buy a car? Were they able to save $50,000? Were they able to um, um, put a child through school because of because of the financial management education that that you all gave? Was it effective? And so you can, just from simple things like that, just from measuring participation, you can see the effectiveness or the ineffectiveness of your program. So that is one of the easiest ways, is to track participation and how many people sustained or you sustained in the program, and then how many people achieved a result. And so once you get to those who achieve the results, you need to be blasting all of that in your annual reports on social media, because you got some good outcomes. But if no one achieved a result, 50 people dropped out of your program when only 75 people joined, you got an issue and you got to go back and fix something. And so that's one of the easiest ways of tracking progress. And then number three, the other easy breezy way is to do surveys. You can do qualitative or quantitative. You can just give a random survey and say, here, just fill this out. Or you can get feedback. What did you like about the program? What did you what should we do different? What did you accomplish? What did you take? What was your biggest takeaway? And so you have to really know the if your program is impacting, if you're in, again, it's not just your nonprofit as a whole, but if the program is impacting. And so then that will have a, then that will go into the reputation of the nonprofit as a whole. But a lot of you, your biggest issue with your nonprofit not growing, I can tell just from the website. I can tell that, just from the website, that you don't have a good program. Like your program, like at the end of the day, is just not up to par, and you need to go back and do some strategic planning, some SMART goals. You need to probably even go far back as to do some better strategic planning with your board, your annual strategic planning, and really talk about one of the goals on one of the items on your strategic plan annually is to develop a viable program. Or you might say, this year we want to get 2 programs up and running. I always say this: when you first start in your nonprofit, perfect one program. Start with something easy breezy, a program. You can start with something as easy as, say, if your nonprofit wants to help reentries get on their feet. One of the easiest things you can do is create a program that when those who are incarcerated are released, helping them to go get their ID, helping them, taking them to motor vehicles, making sure that they get their ID. You can develop a program just for that, and making sure that that's effective, that you're getting a lot of reentries signed up for that program, partnering with other nonprofits who are already doing reentry, just to say that this is a program that I offer that can supplement what you're doing. And so you can you got to just, but you got to be, program planning and program development is vital. It is vital. It is a heartbeat of your nonprofit. And so if you are not impacting, if your nonprofit is just seem like it's just dull and it's not doing anything, and no one wants to donate, no one wants to support, you don't have any good board members, it's because you don't have a good program. All right, so I hope this helps. Drop some comments below if you need some one-on-one coaching. I do have some hour slots, so you can contact me and then we can go from there. All right, you all be blessed. See you on the next video.